Hello everyone, welcome to Hastafima Cargo's channel. In today's video we're going to be replacing the cracked fender on this 1999 Volkswagen Beetle. If you're a subscriber to our channel and you've seen some of the videos that we have done with this car, I'm very confident you've seen this cracked and you might be wondering how come this thing never got replaced. Well, today's the day. Brandon's going to help me. He's still on vacation, and in order to keep him from getting bored, guess what? He's going to help me, and we're going to tackle this thing and get rid of this cracked fender once and for all. So if you have a Beetle with a cracked fender like this one and you want to know how to replace it, just keep on watching. To make this a lot easier on you, you can always cheat. You can see where the bolts go just by looking at the new fender and take the bolts off the old fender. Okay, so looking it up from the top, we know that there are 8. And that's all that's holding this fender on the top side, so we're going to remove this 8 first. And the size, in case you want to know, is T30 Torx. So Brandon already removed the upper 8 bolts. Now he's going to remove the lower 2. Go ahead. Okay, so the next step is remove the 4 that are underneath by the fender well. If you want to know the size of the ones underneath the fender well, they're T25s. Okay, so what we run into, it appears that the OEM fender is fastened to another section underneath this splash guard. So we're going to remove this splash guard. We're going to remove all the retaining bolts, and they're T25, just so you know. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move on to the next section that we're going to show you what's holding this part of the fender from coming loose. Okay, so now that the splash guard is removed, we can see the nuts that are holding the fender. Because if you look in here, so if you look inside, you can see these rivets right there that the fender is attached to, to this piece right here. So we're going to unbolt it, and we'll figure out how we're going to fasten the new fender to this part once it's out. Aside from the 4 nuts that are 10mm, by the way, there is one bolt there where Brandon is holding the small ratchet with the socket, and up there you can see the other one. So you gotta remove those 2 bolts. They're 10mm also. Now we need to remove these right here, but to be able to get to the one farther front, to make our life easier, we're going to remove the airbox. So it's held by a nut down here, and then there's a bolt up here. So we're gonna take those off so we can move it aside. Okay, so we ended up disconnecting this air hose right here so we can separate it, and we move this to the side. Now what we're going to do, we're going to remove this completely so we have access to the bolts. We have plenty of room, but in order to do so, we need to remove this bracket right here, which is no big deal. It's held by a bolt here and a bolt here. So we're going to take it off and remove this. Okay, so we have the bracket and the air duct out of the way. Now we're going to remove this bolt, and this bolt. So we're getting very close to the end. There are 2 bolts that hold these 2 together. Very, very hard to get to by the looks of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this bolt, and if we pull on this part forward, we're going to see if we can get to these from underneath. So we're going to try that, probably even that one, so it flexes as much as possible. So we have these two separated, and how we were able to do it is I unplugged all the lights, the horn, everything underneath, and we were able to pull this section just the way I thought, and I was able to slide an extension and a ratchet through here to remove these bolts. It was kind of hard, but that's how we did it. Okay, so finally, finally, we're getting ready to remove this fender. How this is going to come off is you pull on the back side where his hand is, and this part is going to have to slide forward, and that's how this fender is going to come off once all the fasteners have been removed. Okay, so I have the old fender and the new fender next to each other, and all of these rivets are going to have to be drilled out so we can transfer this bracket to the new fender, because that's how it was fastened on the car. And that part was the part that was hidden and we couldn't see from the outside. Make sure it's straight, okay? Hold on. Okay, so here's the problem, that if we're running into it, it's very likely that you will too. The rivet started spinning, and obviously if it starts spinning, then you won't be able to drill it through. So we're going to hold it with this locking pliers so it doesn't spin and we can drill it. Okay, so let's see if it pops off. There. So here's the rivet. Okay, change of plans here. Drilling the rivets is just not gonna happen. We realized that that's way too much, and trying to hold every single one is gonna drive us crazy, and we don't want to go crazy. So we're just gonna grind them all off. This is going to destroy the fender completely, obviously, but then again, it's the old fender, so what do we care? So that's what we're going to do. Just gonna grind them all off. Okay, so Brandon finished grinding them off. Now we gotta beat them out with a hammer and a punch. So that's the next step. Okay. Next one. Okay, so here's the bracket that we removed from the old fender. I cleaned it up a little bit with the new fender. So we went to the parts store and we got some 3/16 rivets. And Brandon's gonna install it using the rivet gun, of course. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so we have the bracket installed back on the new fender. We're ready to put it back on, but before that we're going to clean everything up so it's nice and clean. Not that anybody's going to see it, but it's exposed. Why not? So, we're not going to film this part because it's going to make this video drag so long that you're not going to watch it. Let's be honest. It would be way too long. You already know how it came off, so you just need to put it back on in the reverse order. Make sure all the fasteners are properly tightened, and that's it. Easy enough. Thanks for watching today's video. See you next time.